Welcome to Voices of Resilience, where lived experiences meets bold transformation. I'm your host, Dr. Tamesha Hughes-Frazier, and today's episode is a powerful reminder that some people survive, others rise, but there's a rare few who turn their pain into purpose and build a platform that uplifts us all. Today's guest is Micah Barbee, a registered nurse, entrepreneur, and a founder of Optimal Oasis Wellness, where beauty and wellness meets purpose. From Durham, North Carolina, currently residing in Charlotte, North Carolina, with nearly a decade of nursing experience and a mission rooted in holistic healing, Micah has created space that nurtures the inside just as much as the outside. She's a thought leader in aesthetics and wellness space, a dedicated advocate in her community, and someone who turns personal pain into powerful platforms for change. Welcome to the show, Micah.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here.
Oh my God, finally. This is so awesome. So tell us a little bit about yourself personally, and then we'll get into the good stuff.
Okay, well, my name is Micah Barbee. I am from Durham, North Carolina. I currently reside in Charlotte, and I own Optimal Oasis. And I'm just excited to be here and have some good old conversations, breaking some barriers from pain to purpose. And
That's right.
Excited to get into it.
Girl, I love all of this. Thank you for that. Okay, so speaking of Optimal Oasis, how did Optimal Oasis come to fruition? I mean, you've been in the business for a minute, right?
Yeah, well, I will say, I still like to say I'm a baby business, but I've been a nurse for going on 10 years next year. And so before Optimal Oasis was Optimal Oasis, it was Drip and Be Hydration and Wellness. So this was birth. It was IV Hydration, mobile company birth right during, I would say, like maybe the peak and tail end of COVID. So right before I started the business, I was working with FEMA doing the COVID crisis, doing some travel nursing, and then came to Charlotte with a big dream to start my own business. And I wanted more flexibility for me and my son, single mom. And I was like, oh, I can't do these 12-hour shifts anymore with this schedule. So I wanted something to be, one, more flexible with my schedule, as well as something I'm passionate about, which is wellness and just making people feel better, like starting from the inside out. And so first it was IV hydration focused, and we expanded into wellness and aesthetics, just kind of merging the two together. So that's how Optimal Oasis came after, honestly, a little bit of a hard time. It was birthed from Drip and Be, kind of forced into Optimal Oasis, which I'm really excited. You know, sometimes things that we don't really foresee in businesses happen, and it bursts like something new and beautiful. And that's kind of how we got here.
And you know what? Like, I was like, oh God, just watching you. I think I've told you so many times how much I love your story. You know, like, and I was like, I can't wait for you to tell your story. And you just have this.
I know, you've been like always wanting me to write a book. And I'm just like, girl.
It's coming, though. It's coming. I think it's going to happen. It's going to happen soon. But I really want people to know, because to see you, they see this woman that's moving and shaking in Charlotte. But they don't know how old you are. And, it's not like you have to be old to start a business. But I was really impressed with how young you are. Saying, okay, I need to make all of these choices and these decisions. I mean, tell me, did you know what you were doing?
No, absolutely not. So in nursing school, they don't teach you at all about business. It's actually kind of, I wouldn't say frowned upon, but I was very insecure about saying I'm a nurse with a business, because it's like, oh, you're not a doctor, you're not this, you're not that, how can you do it? And so I think, one, I will say first off, it's in my blood. My mother, she was a beautician who owned several hair salons, worked with some really big names and all of the Barner Brothers shows, did like Wendy Williams hair. Like, she was that girl in the 90s. So I think I just saw her work ethic growing up. And then also my father, and both of them are late. So seeing both of them just like really grind it out, like they had one of the first beauty supply stores, Black owned, in our city back in the day. So I think it was just in me. But I am passionate about nursing. I'm passionate about healing. And so I didn't know, still sometimes don't know what
I
I'm
know.
doing. And that's just the
Right.
name of the game. But when you're in business, you're going to figure it out one way or the other. But I did not, major in business or anything like that. But I did invest in a lot of courses to kind of teach me. And I also paid people to do the things that I don't know how to do.
Right.
That's what they do. So don't let people fool you
I
out
know,
there.
right? All right. No, I mean, it's always, I mean, if there's a way, we're going to find it.
Mm-hmm.
What I love about this, this show and what I'm trying to do is I talk about resilience, and I talk about how we push past the odds to get to where we want to be. And so when I think about you, I think about when you made the comment, you said late, and I mean, navigating life, navigating college. What was your support system? What did it look like?
So it was not the most traditional, I would say. So I did lose my mom at the age of 9. She had a very aggressive battle with breast cancer. It was late detection, and that's also a big reason why I am passionate about wellness and healthcare. So she her and my father were married. They were high school sweethearts, and so
Girl, don't
um,
happen no more like that.
no, right? Look, met at the movie theater, like all that stuff. But yeah, so losing her, at an early age, and I was the oldest of my siblings. I definitely had to kind of step up in that more maternal role. I feel like I had to support my father, who was very much involved in raising us. But we're all human, and
Right,
my
right.
father definitely faced some struggles with coping with the loss of my mother, his best friend.
Right.
And he did have some issues battling drugs on and off in like more of my adolescent years. And so and also he did do some things and got in trouble with the law, so in and out of prison as well, just adding that to his resume.
Right.
But ultimately, like, he is also like just one of those people who just turn his pain into purpose as well. Like, he also was a mentor. He touched so many lives. Like, he started businesses. He did so many amazing things, but again, he did have some struggles, and
Right.
because of those struggles, we did have times where we were staying with other relatives, my grandmothers, my aunts, and then, he did have like other significant others, things like that. So we were honestly raised by a community of people. So a lot of people are confused sometimes about like, wait, so you're from there? Oh, this person, you talk to this person. Like, I feel like the way I was raised was almost like a melting pot. Like, we lived in some areas that people, definitely locked their doors. And then, I've lived in places where okay, maybe we can take a jog around the community. So I think it has kind of made
Balanced
me,
you.
yeah,
Yeah.
just made me this like really moldable person to kind of fit in any place. So but I will say for the most part, it was like the heart not like growing up.
Right, right.
It was like most people like, oh wait, you slept on mattresses and couches for years. Like it isn't what people expect, but I think that is what makes my business thrive in a sense, because I can relate. Like, I'm not this person. I think that some people like looking like, oh, she's doing this, she has this, she takes trips to do this. It was like, yeah, I never done it before, so I'm gonna do what I can to provide the
Yes.
life that I know that I want and I deserve.
You are resilient, and you are an example of resiliency. And that's why I love this opportunity, because I think sometimes we see all the beauty, and we don't see the brains and we don't see the struggle. And that's because you just been like, you make this thing look easy. And so, when was it? Like, one of the things that I love that you do is that you take your pain and you twist it some kind of way. I want you to explain it, because it's like you come up on social media with a smile and a cute dress and you say, 5 things to know about me. And most people just don't, they don't want folks to know. Like, I know for me, I have social media boundaries. Okay. I'm like, listen, I'm not waking up to get dressed with you. And I mean, I know, I will tell you where I was, and we're going to post some pictures and some videos, but outside of that, no. You have a beautiful way. It's like serving you on a plate to people that feel like they got something, like, I got you. You're like, no, you don't. Tell me, when did that happen? Like, when did that idea pop up into your brilliant mind that, you know what, I'm going to tell people this story about my pain, and maybe, it could help someone.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for that compliment. I'm glad that this is, what I give off. But I think that's also why it's so important to me. I think in social media, we have all these people that do like, oh, like I'm on a yacht, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But they're one not saying, I mean, you don't owe it to anybody to explain
Right.
anything. However, I don't like to trick people. I don't like to confuse people. I want you to know exactly what my reality is, and how I got here, just to show that you can do it too.
Yes.
Not to like boast or brag or anything like
Right.
that, but it's like I want you to know, like, hey, this is what I went through. This is what my experience was like. And I think the boundaries part is important. I know people probably think, oh, she is just telling it all. She's just exposing all the things. But it's like, y'all still don't know.
No, you
Y'all
still
still
don't
have
know.
no idea,
Right.
what I really go through from day to day and the issues that I face. Yeah, I might smile, and I'm not going to say behind the smile is pain, or but I can smile and cry in the same sentence, and I think that's just like the beautiful thing about just like owning who you are. And I always say the whole advocacy thing, I feel like I can be an advocate for so many different things. I mean, from, losing the mother at a young age, losing a
Right.
father. I mean, he literally just passed away in his sleep last summer. And
Yeah.
his anniversary, I didn't even realize his anniversary date, one Father's Day is Sunday. I was like, oh, shoot, that's interesting. The first Father's Day without him.
Yeah.
And then his, I guess, I don't know, do they call it death anniversary? I don't know. That sounds kind of weird. But
Yeah,
when he
I don't.
passed, it was June 27th. So this is an
Right.
interesting month for me. And I am
Yeah.
curious to see how I will, maneuver around it. But I think, the advocacy part is a part of my healing. Because while I'm sharing, I'm not sharing all the way healed sometimes. But I do have a boundary where I have to make sure that I'm in a
Right.
right mental space to protect my peace when I do share. And I'm also a space to receive. And, sometimes when I do, hey, do the 5 facts, or, share like a really big part of me, I do take a step back for myself afterwards, because I have to be mentally prepared for the questions and, how did you get through it? Because then I have to relive it. And I think it was a word, re-traumatize.
Right.
That was a
Right.
good one. I think it is real. Like, one, I am a huge advocate for therapy. I'm also an advocate for Christ, Jesus Christ to be exact.
That's right.
And just making sure all of those things are included in my journey when I do share my story, and express, how I am, navigating all of this.
Yes. So that's wonderful. So community is a huge part of your work. What's the difference between a safe space and a performative one?
Oh, that's a good question. So I think a safe space is like just really what you make it. And I can kind of go for my business to be like, for an example, like, people see my business and it's Botox, filler, IV hydration, medical weight loss, things like that. But these people that come into our space, our oasis, they're coming usually from a vulnerable space. Most people who want to do facials, like, they might be insecure about their skin. They might have a history behind that. Somebody could have been bullying them, or, weight loss. People have told them, like, they
Right.
don't look, this is what you're supposed to look like, or, you're cheating by doing this. Like, it's so
Right.
many things. And so, I mean, I cried one of my, well, she cried, and I was like, I was almost on the brink of tears, when she was, on the weight loss and still struggling. And it's just, I make sure that I listen and I hear them, and I don't force things on people. And when I hear you, I think a lot of times it's really great to share your experience with certain things and how that has impacted you, in order for them to, I guess, see, the other side of what the good can be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think that did I answer the
You did. And
question?
so you did. Like, I just want you to just, like, get into, speaking of weight loss
Hmm.
and and taking care of ourselves. Do you see, or have you observed that a lot of women, we have to justify why these things are important? Like, do you see us struggling with that? Um, Trying to understand why it's important to have a day for yourself. Why it's important that you tackle losing the weight.
Hmm.
Understanding, because what I've observed is that um, obesity is, and I'm not a doctor. I just know that I struggle. I love food, honey. I love some food. I'm gonna eat, but it's like anything else. We don't. As a person who is working all day and doing my thing, I'm not counting all of that stuff. And as a woman over 40, I'm recognizing that my metabolism is not what it used to be. So, what do you say to someone who's coming in there and they're feeling a type of way because of what everybody else is saying?
Hmm.
How do you not necessarily win them over, or how do they grasp the idea that this is a choice that you make to choose
Hmm.
you as their provider, to take that journey with them?
Yeah, so I mean, I see all sorts of women, and men, but I do see women who, you know, might be like closer to 400, 300, and then like 150.
Mm-hmm.
And, the someone who weighs 300 plus, or the person who weighs 150, like they have the same concerns, and they have the same issues, and they're crying out in the same way. So I don't like my clients now. I do not like to focus on the number. I want to focus on how you feel about yourself. And of course, we look at numbers when it comes to like labs, and we really focus on like our muscle mass and all those other contributing factors other than like the actual pounds. But I am a big advocate of, having, a healthy weight for you and your
Mm-hmm.
body. Like 150 might not be healthy for someone, that started out at 300, So I think just creating realistic goals for our clients, and also just like hearing them and seeing how they feel about themselves, and just kind of like meeting them versus telling them this is what you need to look like. This is what society standards. Like my clients know I hate BMIs. Like I hate BMIs because I just feel like you can't just go based off of a BMI. And so that's why we definitely take like that holistic approach. Like we talk about mental health, what's going on in your family. Like I've been with clients for years from, they've lost siblings, and I can relate to that too. So
Right.
we have these conversations and we get through things together, because I think again, weight isn't just like food.
Right.
It is cortisol levels being high, like
Mm-hmm.
water retention, like it's
It's
so
spiritual
it's
too.
yeah,
It's
it's
it's spiritual.
deep.
It's like, the weight of responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
The weight of all of those things. And so, to be able to have a safe place to land is, to me, so important, because when we look at the medical field or in general, it's just not been a safe space for us.
Yeah, historically for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So, talking about those sensitive things and being able to come and seek help, seek options,
Mm-hmm.
and then have someone to meet you on the end saying, "Hey, I'm gonna give you 15 minutes
Mm-hmm.
to tell me about everything else except for this."
Yeah.
And that's wonderful, because you can't even get that when you go to the doctor.
Yeah,
You
and
know.
that's like what the big part of, I sometimes call it my business, sometimes I call it my ministry,
Okay.
because it's not about the money being made sometimes. Like it to me is about, being that vessel and just reaching people and them seeing, how your growth. Like I have so many clients who have seen me rolling my little suitcase with my drip stuff in it to, being on platforms like this, teaching, other nurses and other healthcare providers how to do this. And so I think, that is the beauty in it more so than the actual services offered. So yeah, that is, a part of that second answer to that question with community.
Yes. So moving back to the business, because I think a lot of times when we think of what you do, and this is, I'm glad you changed your business name from the Drip. All respect on the name though. I'm putting all the respect
Drip
on the
got
name.
us here.
Listen, it did, but that's why I like optimal, because we have optimal options going on here. So it's not just the Drip. What's going on at Optimal Oasis? I mean, what's offered when I walk
Yeah.
into your establishment? What can I get?
Yeah. So, and I don't want to be all salesy,
No,
but
it's not salesy. It's what it is, because sometimes, you got to know what you're coming for.
yeah. So, of course, we offer IV hydration. We also offer medical weight loss, so the semaglutide, tirzepatide, as well as Botox filler, facial balancing, and facials. So we really do like to, get to like the root cause. Like, you shouldn't really be doing all the Botox and filler if you aren't taking care of like the barrier of your
Right.
skin. And so that kind of is also why I'm also in FNP school right now for family nurse practitioner, because yeah, I'm excited because I want to do so much that my license will not allow me to do, because I'm itching. Like, again, those conversations with women who are, just have all these question marks
Right.
on why is this like this. And granted, like, healthcare might not have all the answers for it, but like, I want to figure this out with you. And
Right.
sometimes it takes, for an advanced degree for me to
Right.
dive deeper into getting into like functional medicine, and just merging all that with beauty and wellness.
Girl, I mean, you're doing it all. I mean, you're running a business, you're a mom, you're in school. I mean, what else? What else we doing?
Girl, who knows? That's what I want to know.
So let me see. So my last question, and this we may have to stay on for a minute because I like this question, is what message would you offer to someone who's still in the thick of their pain, but dreaming of something greater?
Mm. So I look at like adversities and pain as like the comma, like it's not the period. Like, you have to push through it, and I think it's important to seek tools to push through those things. And so a lot, like, my best work has come from the most like the biggest and triumphs, and the hardest things that I think I've ever had to face, like, have birthed beautiful things. For example, like, I know I was talking about the transition from Drip and B to Optimal Oasis. Like, that was not planned. I literally was in a situation with the landlord at the space that I was previously in, and I was uncomfortable. Like, it was not a safe space for me or my clients after a while. And so I broke my lease because I was like, I can't take it anymore. Like,
Right.
I don't feel comfortable being here. I can't focus. So I broke my lease. After breaking my lease, like, God opened up a whole, like, literally, because I'm like, God, I'm breaking my lease, but this is like, my rent here is really great. Like, I don't have like a whole bunch of capital to just open up a new space and build out a new building, and I don't want to go back to like a smaller suite. Like, I don't want to downgrade. And so the thing is, as soon as I got in that situation,
Girl.
a week later, me and another person that I was partnering with got approved for the space that we're in now. So I think a lot of times it's like, you have to push through that.
Yes.
Those difficult situations, those difficult scenarios that you don't know what's on the other side in order
Ooh.
to like get to it.
Yes.
And I mean, even to build on top of that, I mean, literally, like, last year was like a little just a very small portion of life adversities, but it was so
Right.
powerful
It
because
was.
like that was like 2023 of November, that transition happened, and then we go to January of 2024, and that same person is suing me
Mm-hmm.
for breaking my lease for about $30,000, forty thousand
Whoa, whoa,
dollars,
whoa, whoa.
which I'm like, whoa, like,
Yes.
I
Where am
gotta
I going to
figure
get
out.
this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, I figure out how we gonna pay rent for the new place. Like, how is
Right.
this, But again, like, I place all things in God's hand, and I think
Yes.
after seeing Him move, how He moved with blessing me with the new space, like, I kind of couldn't even worry. Like, these things have taught me I can't hold this. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
can't try and figure this out on my
Right.
own. And
Right.
so, after that situation, again, gave that to God and let that be what it was. And fortunately, everything got dropped, but unfortunately, some more things happened that weren't, but were very unforeseen and kind of tragic with that person. But at the end of it, like I will say, like it was something that moved me into a new space.
Right.
That transition from going from Drip and B to Optimal Oasis, and
Mm-hmm.
then just like even from being a mother going to court for custody and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. Like, I mean, that was like gut wrenching. I
And
felt
this
like I
is
was
at the
gonna,
same
oh
time.
yeah, all at the same time. I
Woo.
thought I was gonna throw up every day. I felt suffocated every single
Oh.
day almost last year.
Mm.
And I kept having to, push through because I got bills to pay.
Right.
I got, people that's depending on me to look good. So
Yes.
it's like I can't, just crawl in a hole right now. So I have to push through, and I have a child that I have to provide for without any assistance. Like I never,
And fight for.
yeah. And so, and it was not an easy fight. Like I tell
Right.
people all the time, like, when you have like two great parents, sometimes it is really difficult
Mm-hmm.
in these situations. And so, from that situation, I got sharing my story a little bit, not even publicly, with my experience of whoever like our paths cross.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I was in a way able to kind of set them free and find hope in
Mm-hmm.
knowing that, like, don't, it's not over yet.
It's not.
um I mean, I could literally go on and on of how God has like intervened
Oh,
in a
yes.
way that is unexplainable for
Yes.
so many situations that I have been through.
Mm-hmm.
But I would tell people to keep pressing through
Mm-hmm.
that pain. And sometimes it's not even pain, it's just you can't do it.
Right.
So you have to give it to
You
God.
have to. It's
Like,
it's it's so beautiful because we have faith, but there's a wall. This wall comes up, and it's always presenting. I think I said this before. It presents itself, and it's like, I have to get around this wall. It's not because my faith has lacked. It's just that I can't press through here. And so, when you talk about things that have happened, you give a clear to me example of how we just got to give it to God,
mhm.
and we just got to keep pressing through. But it was like hitting you like boom, boom, boom,
Man, and
boom,
when
boom.
it hits you like that, it is an attack, because
Oh
I
yeah.
think when the enemy sees how close your relationship with God is getting and how much you're depending on him, he's going to use everything. He's going to use your children. He's going to use your family. He's going to use like the things that you are most
Hmm.
weak about to break you. I mean,
Yes.
literally like a week before I found out, I mean, yeah, the week, but I got custody of my child, and literally, like, I wanted to celebrate. I could breathe. Like,
Hmm.
I felt like finally,
Hmm.
and not to say I didn't have custody of him, but I didn't have full
Right.
for two
Right.
years. And so a week later, the enemy he did not want me to celebrate that. He did
Hmm.
not want me to be happy with that, for me, a victory. Because then a week later, I lost my father,
Hmm.
and who was very present in those situations that I was going through for over 2 years, and that, I mean,
Yeah. The
honestly,
whole
it
fight.
brought us closer. And
Right.
so literally he tried to break me by taking him, but the relationship that I believe was really like stirred up during those 2 years with me and my father, like it was like the best time ever. I got to see like other sides of him. He got to spend so much time with my son. And so it's just like, I think, of course, like I weep. Of course, I cry. Of course, I don't even know what I'm doing Sunday. Like, I remember the last Father's Day, I didn't spend time with him. He worked so much. Like, we are workaholics. And he worked so much. And he was working at this assisted living facility. And he's like, yeah, people keep calling out. I have to be there for them. Who's going to give them their meds? I'm like, okay, Dad. Well, since you have to work, I will DoorDash you Outback Steakhouse so you can have like a meal for Father's Day. And he was just so happy. Yes. And so it's just, I think about those memories. I think about those things because the enemy wants me to. And he has gotten me to places where I'm like, why? Why? I want to be with them. Take me. Like, I have gotten to those places several times, but then I'm like just reminded of like all the good things, all the amazing people he's touched in his life. And I just want to keep doing the same thing. Like I have a legacy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I have some generational curses that I'm actively working on breaking. And, me being an advocate for many people in different ways, me being like just my true authentic self. Like, I got a compliment from this guy. He was like, the thing that I really admire about you is that you show up being who you are without any, you're not looking for the aesthetic of what it's supposed to look like. Like, you make people uncomfortable, and I love doing that. Like, I love doing it because get uncomfortable.
That's right.
That's where your blessings come from. Like, be called out when you're wrong. I mean, it happens to me.
It happens to all of us.
Like,
if you're going to grow, if you're going to grow.
Yeah. So, those are the things that I would just really like to like keep going. Like, this is a part of the plan.
It is.
Because how can I tell someone, sometimes it sounds good, like, oh, you'll get through it, it, but like, I can't do that without explaining like how I got through it, how I messed up, how I probably hurt people, how I hurt myself, how I brought certain situations onto myself. Like, it's so much to be like learned out here, and I'm just really thankful for all the things that have happened to me, good, bad, and ugly.
That's right. And that's what to me is the toolkit. I mean, you mentioned earlier about the tools, and to me that is the toolkit. The good, the bad, and the ugly. But even in the midst of all of that, God is. He is, and He's very present. And it doesn't always feel that way. No. Especially when you're hit with
I'm
this.
like,
this
knock. You see what's happening, right?
You hear, right?
Like, you see what bill is coming up, right?
Right. Like, but He keeps making a way, and that's the joy that we get to look forward to because we acknowledge it. We acknowledge that there's something bigger working on the outside and our interests.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Personal. Random question: What would be your theme song in childhood? From childhood.
Okay. So let's see. It's a great question. Okay. So, 90s baby. Because I know you asked about my age earlier. I'm 32.
32. She a baby.
In December.
She's
but
a baby.
I love, like, soulful R&B. Like, my friends, they're always, like, passing me the aux because why are you still playing the 2000s? I'm like, because that's what I love.
That's what I do.
But I would say Everything is Everything by Lauryn Hill.
Everything.
Okay, so she has some lyrics in there that I just feel like definitely like resonate. So she says, after winter comes spring, change will come eventually. That literally, like, I mean, I didn't think of that song when I was a child, of course, but when I hear it now, it hits so different. And I think that was what I felt like, sometimes as a child, you are in it, you don't realize until you're out of it. Like,
right.
Therapy kind of brought a lot of things from childhood out. Like, okay, this is what you went through. This wasn't
Right.
normal, and so, but every time, it was
I like
always
that.
some light after, these dim and dark situations, or we would make light in the darkest of situations. And then another lyric, she said, something about like when hip hop meets scripture, it develops a negative into a positive picture. And so it's just like, I know, look, I'm over here. But I just feel like that is also something that, like I think, again, the uncomfortability is like, I think that's my word for the year, because I just got baptized last year. Again, my situations brought me so much closer to God, where I had no choice but to lean on Him. So
right.
I definitely became way more spiritual, and I love it. And it's still a journey, and I still, don't do all the things right. And I love that I don't. I love that I am a sinner, and people can look at me like, oh, how's she doing this, and she can still,
Right.
Represent God. But that's what God is. That's what Christ
Yes.
died for us for. And, that is who He hung out with.
That's
the
right.
thieves.
Listen,
he hung out with.
He was out in the streets.
Okay, so it's just like, that is what I want to represent. Of course, we can always do a better way of like representing Christ, but I feel like, that when hip hop meets spiritual, wait, what is it? Hip hop meets, what did I say? Scripture.
Yeah, scripture.
It's like, it's my life. Like, yeah, I might turn up here and there, but I also I talk about God.
That's
in the
right,
club
because
with
He's
people.
all. Yeah. What I love about what you just said, is
talk.
that you went through this, but this is normal. That's the part where that's a whole nother topic.
Girl.
But I'm just saying that you went through this, but this is normal is huge, because I think a lot of times we go through so much, and it changes us so much that we don't know what the normal is, and we start creating a new normal.
Yes.
And that's
like,
not
I'm not the same person, y'all.
Yeah.
And people be, like, I'm not
Yes.
who I used to be, and just 2 years ago.
Right.
Like, I am different.
Girl, say it. I am different.
And I'm okay.
Different.
Hey, look.
I am.
Karaoke mics up here. But no, that's real. And I would say that is definitely a song, and I'm probably going to blast it when I leave here, because
Yes.
I mean, if you break that thing down, it literally, it's a nice little guide. It's a nice syllabus of life for life.
Yes. When I think about, I have so many songs.
Yeah, I'm like, what's your song?
I'm old though. Like, I'm not even
always
about to
say
do that
that.
to myself. But
You can say OJ's or...
no, I wasn't. I am old, but not.
I know. I'm trying to be
so
funny.
I am a child. I'm a child of the '80s. So but I mean, I couldn't really enjoy it until the '90s. So if I was taking a song off of your album, it would be what's the song called? It Could All Be So Simple.
Ooh, yeah.
But you'd rather make it hard.
Girl.
Loving you is like a battle. And we both end up with scars. Boy, I'm telling you, what do I have to be?
Okay. The game, reciprocity.
Yeah,
that word.
That word.
But yeah, she definitely did her big one on that.
Listen, man, let me tell you, no matter how much
Yeah.
you keep reminding me.
Yeah.
So that's forever. Like, I think that's my life song forever, And it helps me to point out when people don't appreciate me as a person. What I and it doesn't matter. Like, it could be with my children, my significant other, my work, whatever. It's like, it's this whatever.
Yeah.
So
okay. Well,
thanks
for sharing.
I know. You have answered all of my questions, honey. And I'm just so honored to
I can
be
go
here.
on and on and on.
Listen, and I'm going to have you on and on again. And we're going to talk about something great. But in the meantime, thank you so much for coming and blessing us with your story, and more importantly, being a voice of resilience.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just thankful to be here, too. Like,
Yes.
I mean, you are one of those stories where community kind of became like, okay, like this, I'm inspired by you. Like, I'm just really thankful for what has grown from us becoming clients to friends and all the things like, and I think these types of blessings wouldn't happen if we did not become vulnerable with one another. And so like, if anything, I tell people, you don't have to tell all your business, get all detailed, but sometimes like, it's not like the length of time that you've known someone.
That's
like
right.
I think God sends people to deliver his message. Like, it's not me coming up with these things. Like, he speaks through us.
Yes, he does.
And
That's
I'm
right.
just thankful that he brought you to Drip. You were with me in Drip and V days.
Yay!
Brought you to Drip, you know, and now we're here. And again,
right. I'm here, and I'm for the long haul. I ain't going nowhere. So
yes, locked in.
That's right. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs a little inspiration today. Until next time, stay strong, stay inspired, and keep building resilience.